I've had enough of ICE agents shooting American citizens. This has got to stop. On January the 7th, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Renee Good, a 37-year-old mother of three, was shot by ICE agent Jonathan Ross. She had just dropped off her 6-year-old son when she was on her way home and encountered an ICE operation. Today, I would like to examine police policies that should have governed this encounter and why this shooting raises serious questions about those policies whether or not they are being followed. For decades, law enforcement agencies across the United States have established strict restrictions on shooting at moving vehicles. These ain't arbitrary rules. These are rooted in decades of traffic incidents and research. According to the Associated Press, the New York Police Department was among the first to adopt these restrictions back in 1972. After a 10-year-old passenger of a stolen car was killed, sparking widespread protest. Research from the 1970s and early 80s confirmed what many suspected. These policies dramatically reduced the number of bystanders struck by police gunfire and led to fewer overall deaths in police shootings. Today, Police Executive Research Forum and the International Associates of Chiefs of Police both recommend similar restrictions. The reason is straightforward. Shooting at a moving vehicle creates multiple dangers. First, there's a risk of a stray gunfire hitting an innocent bystander. Second, you have a risk of the driver losing control of a multi-ton vehicle and then creating a danger for everyone nearby. The Department of Justice manual explicitly states that firearms should not be used simply to disable a moving vehicle. Beyond the restrictions on shooting at moving vehicles, federal agents receive specific training about tactical positioning. Law enforcement experts consistently emphasize that officers should not place themselves in front of a moving vehicle in the way that then justifies them using deadly force. As a retired NYPD sergeant and professor at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice told the Associated Press, officers generally are taught not to step in front of moving vehicles. They are taught to try not to block them. This isn't cowardice. It's sound tactical doctrine. By positioning themselves in the path of a vehicle, they create a very danger you can then claim justifies legal force. In the Renee Good case, the video shows the agent John Ross walking around the front of her vehicle, positioning himself in the path. He had clear opportunity to remain to the side or move out of the way from the vehicle's trajectory. Instead, he placed himself in a position to where he could later claim the vehicle was coming toward him and raise critical questions. Did Agent Ross' own tactical decisions create a circumstance that he then used to justify deadly force? The Justice Department policy on deadly force is very specific. According to the Justice Department, in Justice Manual section 55-020, firearms may not be discharged at a moving vehicle unless two conditions are met. First, a person in the moving vehicle must be threatening the officer or another person with a deadly force by means other than the vehicle itself, such as firing a weapon from the vehicle. Second, the vehicle must be operated in a manner that threatens the death or serious injuries and no other objectively reasonable means of defense exist, which specifically includes moving out of the way of the path of the vehicle. Let's be clear about what this means. The policy recognizes that if you can move out of the way of the vehicle, you should. Using deadly force is only justified when there is no other reasonable alternative. In the case, Agent Ross was on foot. The vehicle was moving slowly on the residential streets. The vehicle shows he had the ability to step aside. Instead, he fired at least 3 times, the first one through the windshield, Then, at close range through the driver's side window, Rene Good's vehicle began moving away from him. The vehicle subsequently crashed into two parked cars. If the goal was public safety, shooting the driver of a moving vehicle in a residential neighborhood achieved the opposite. It guaranteed loss of control. When we examine the shooting through the lens of law enforcement policies, training, serious questions emerge. Was deadly force truly the only option? Did Agent Ross' tactical positioning create the very danger he claimed to face? And did his actions comply with federal guidelines? That requirement, exhausting other responsible alternatives before firing at a moving vehicle, these ain't just academic questions. They're about whether our law enforcement officers are following their policies designed to protect them and the communities they serve. Rene Good was a U.S. citizen. Her death demands answers. But separately, then on January the 24th, also in Minneapolis, Minnesota, again a 37-year-old Alex Peretti, a U.S. citizen, an ICU nurse, was shot and killed by federal agents. He was participating in a protest against immigration enforcement operations when the encounter turned deadly. Today I want to examine what really happened on that day because the video evidence tells a very different story than the narrative. 17 days after Rene Good was killed, Alex Peretti became the second U.S. citizen shot by federal agents in Minneapolis. Peretti was a 37-year-old ICU nurse at healthcare systems at a Minneapolis VA healthcare systems who cared critically ill veterans, according to his colleagues, and was kind-hearted and deeply committed to helping people. And on January the 24th, Peretti was participating in a protest against immigration enforcement operations which led to Rene Good's death. Multiple videos show that the scene verified by CBS News, ABC News, and other outlets show exactly what happened that morning near the 26th Street Avenue. Piastri was in the street filming a scene with his cell phone and directing traffic along the federal operation, according to the Department of Homeland Security reports sent to Congress and obtained by CBS News. The agent viciously shoved a woman to the ground. Pierre immediately moved to help the woman to her feet. He was then pepper sprayed by the agents. What happened next is captured on multiple angles. Approximately 6 federal agents swarmed him, tackling him to the ground and pummeling him. Multiple videos show Piastri on all fours on the pavement when agents on top of him. During the struggle, one of the agents noticed a holster, which he then reached down and grabbed the gun from his holster, thereby disarming him. According to the audio forensic analysis by the Montana State University professors, what happened next took less than 5 seconds. An agent yelled, "He's got a gun," multiple times. Then agents yelled, "Gun, gun, gun." Approximately 5 seconds after the gun was removed from the holster, 2 agents, 1 Border Patrol agent, and 1 Customs and Border Protection officer opened fire and shot 10 total times into this guy. He was on the ground and already disarmed and surrounded by federal agents. This was completely unnecessary, completely uncalled for, and it's just I demand accountability. If you are going around and you are committing crimes against people and you are supposed to be law enforcement, we need accountability for that. It is time that some of these people get charged. Anyway, that's about all I have to say on that.